She hosted and sold out a virtual food festival. How in the world is this possible? We're going to dive into it right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Dino Gomez here. Welcome back to another episode of the Crazy Good Marketing Podcast, where we sit down with industry experts and figure out what is one absurd story or marketing tactic that they have used and give you guys all that value and all that strategy. So today we have Sherese joining us on the podcast, and she did something absolutely insane. She helped her client sell out a virtual food festival.
Yep.
Does that work? I have a ton of questions. I'm sure you guys do too. Sherese, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much, Dino, for having me. I'm really excited. It's funny because when you originally put this out, and you're like, if you have a crazy good marketing story, share it. And I was like, I don't have any crazy stories. And it was like, oh, wait, we did sell out a virtual food festival. That's kind of crazy in the middle of the pandemic. So I'm excited to share. Thank you.
In the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of COVID, you
Mhm.
hosted or helped arrange and host and market and sell out a virtual food festival. This
Mhm.
is insane. How is that possible? Immediately, I'm thinking like, do you ship food to the people and they're at home, like stuffing their face with all this food? Like, how did you do that? This is rad. I'm super curious.
So what first of all, we didn't want to get into all that. Like my client definitely doesn't have the resources, the structure to have people order from his website across the nation, to purchase food. So our focus was built like the relationships we've already built with all the restaurant owners in Illinois, right? Mainly in the Chicago area, definitely in the south, the suburbs and areas of that nature too. So we decided just to leverage those relationships, and we decided that we wanted to focus on creating some sort of special restaurant special that people could get on the weekend. So obviously it's during the pandemic, and at the time a lot of restaurants were suffering, right? Because they couldn't either open their restaurant doors or they could do to go only. It was like in the height of the COVID season shutdown situation. I don't know what you want to call that. So we were trying to think about how we could help Black owned restaurants kind of bring more revenue into their businesses. And that's the idea that we had come up with. Originally, this festival was supposed to be in person. So we had been planning, obviously, up until like March or April to do it in person. And we're like, okay, this is not going to work. So originally, we were like, okay, like everyone else, we just shut down and said, we need to figure out what we're going to do. Pivot, right? Everybody's coming up with a pivot that they were going to do. So I was talking to my client. He actually was extremely resistant to the idea. He's like, that's absurd. Nobody's going to pay for this. Like, what exactly?
Crazy.
Crazy
Wait.
idea.
Your client's like, wait, we're going to host a virtual food festival. What
Yeah.
happened when you suggested that to them?
He said no. We like
Oh,
we had a conversation. He was like, I don't think this is a good idea. It's a waste of time. No one's gonna do it. And I'm like, but everyone's conditioned to being at home right now. The restaurants are struggling. They need help. People want a reason to go outside, and we could still do it in a safe like manner. So I think we started talking about the festival was in October. We started working on this in like August. Like I started trying to convince him that it could still be done. Um,
wait. Hold on for 1 second.
yes,
So you
yes.
gave yourself, we're about to dive into how you sold out this event like a month and a half before it happened, virtual. And for everybody listening in here, what I'm really curious about, right? You might not be in the food industry, but if what we're diving into here conceptually is how you can take something that should be live and all of a
Mhm.
sudden make it virtual, which in an industry where it would normally have to be live. This is crazy good marketing. So then you gave yourself a month and a half. How did you put this together? What happened next?
So I decided that we needed to create tickets, right? And we sold them on Eventbrite. And then so that was my part of like our strategy. We're gonna create tickets, we're gonna sell them on Eventbrite, we're gonna have a VIP experience, and then we're gonna have a general admission, even though there was no admitting anywhere, right? But
Yeah.
part of the general admission was we reached out to, I think we had 15, maybe 20 restaurants or chefs contribute like their favorite recipes to our book, right? So they're getting the free promotion of their restaurant in the book with their recipe in there. Then we compile the recipe book. And then we also gave them the list of all the restaurants in the Chicago area that were offering specials. So it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday special for every single weekend in October. So they could come in
Ooh.
and say, I want I don't know, a Philly cheesesteak and fries and a lemonade. And
I was gonna
they
say
would just
Thai food, but probably not in Chicago, right?
yeah, no, not a Chicago thing. But
Okay.
we do have some good Thai spots because I love Thai food. But that's pretty much what we did. And then we kind of gave the restaurant owners like a number. So we were saying like $6.19 or $16.19, kind of like the range of what we were looking for in terms of locking in the special. So
Mm.
then we basically marketed for all of those restaurants that they were participating in what our event called Blacktober. So they were participating
Ooh,
in that
I like
event.
that. That's great branding. That's catchy. That's
Yes.
memorable.
And so we had them sign up, submit their specials, made them agree. We had a whole forum on that side for them. And then he has a very large platform in terms of like just him sharing his food experiences and things of that nature. So he just started posting, letting everybody know Blacktober is kicking off. The restaurants are going to have specials Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You need to go get tickets. And people actually went. Go
Wait, wait,
ahead.
how wait, we have to stop here for a second because I think everybody else is gonna be really curious about this. So if I'm understanding conceptually what's going on,
Uh-huh.
virtual food festival, you put together all the vendors, everybody that was participating, the restaurants that were willing to give a discount, and then you compose that into a book or something. And when people buy a ticket, they get access to like the website, or do
The list.
you ship them the list, or how was it a
They
physical
get
shipment?
they get it was like like an email, like an ebook. So they got
Ah,
access to the cookbook, which was the ebook that we had created, and then they have access to the list of all the restaurants and the specials that were a part of that. But as part of the VIP, which is the one where we actually charged, we created a virtual experience where they could go behind the scenes when he would visit restaurants and he would cook meals or we would cook with him and they could ask the chef questions. And then we had workouts that we were doing virtually. We did
wait,
like
you
cookie.
guys included workouts in a food related thing here.
Yes.
Increase the appetite a little bit, burn some calories first. Don't feel
Mm-hmm.
as guilty about the Philly cheesesteak. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
And then we
Okay.
had happy hour where we played games, and that was the VIP experience, and people paid. They paid for that to sit online and virtually experience the festival.
So they're still at home. Everybody's at home
Mm-hmm.
and they're paying extra money to do the happy hour to have a reason to drink at home by themselves while with others. Is
Mm-hmm.
this on Zoom or like what's
Yeah,
the whole and
it
it's
was on
hosted on
Zoom.
Zoom. Okay.
And then we had a Facebook group we had a free Facebook group and then we had a paid Facebook group. So
Okay.
everyone that was a part of general admission got access to the free Facebook group. So he's posting like crazy in there. I went to this restaurant. So every weekend we would hit as a team, we would like hit like 10 different restaurants and we just go live. And be like, hey, I'm over here at such and such spot and look at this amazing cheese sandwich, to kind of like try to get people to go out and like order the food and stuff like that. So that's kind of like how the free version worked. And then the paid version was people actually had access to the chef or restaurant owner, or just access to him to ask him questions, or we were playing games. Like we did two events every week on Zoom. So it was either a
Mm.
game, a happy hour, a workout, or behind the scenes with a chef, or cooking, making cookies. We were trying all kinds of different things, and people loved it. They really, really enjoyed it.
This is seriously rad. I need a new one of these little things here so I can hold up rad because I when people watch this episode and they realize they can take an in-person event and they can literally make it virtual. And normally we think of like marketing goes virtual or something, but not like food where you normally have to like be there. This could completely change the way marketing is done
Hmm.
for so many industries and so many different capacities. The possibilities are endless. And so what we'll do to wrap this up, Sherese, this has been amazing. I so many ideas. Quick question. What did you learn from this experience through hosting this, marketing this? What if there's something like that you want to share with the audience, like here's what I learned that I didn't think possible. How would
I
you kind of summarize
I
that?
took my experience of coaching and going to Zoom and online webinars and realizing that you could actually take something that was supposed to be in person and make it virtual. And literally, the only difference was I had the courage to do it. That was
Yes.
it. Like sometimes you think that your idea is crazy and no one's going to believe you, but if you really think that it can work and you've seen it work in other, forms and fashions, like just adapting slightly and testing, you got to test. You can't just think it's not going to work and you don't test it and then the idea falls flat. And from that one event for the whole month of October, he was able to land a brand deal with General Mills. They actually came to one of our game nights. One of the directors came, and that's how he landed the
What?
deal.
What?
Yes.
This is insanity.
We had
Insanity.
we
All
had
from
Gordon
hosting a
Ramsay buy tickets to the festival as well. It was like, what is celebrity chefs are buying tickets to our food festival? This is insane.
for your virtual food festival. That is honestly one of the coolest ideas I've ever heard of. And I feel like what you just did is going to open up and revolutionize a lot of these in-person retail brick and mortar type businesses in terms of how they do their marketing and
Hmm.
how local cities and communities can do their marketing for a particular industry. So this is insane. Ideas through the roof for everybody out there. I hope you realize how much cool stuff you can do by blending in person with virtual. Sherese here is leading the charge with a virtual food festival that sold out. Took over Chicago with
Hmm.
this. Great branding, great marketing, brilliance behind the concept. Sherese, thank you so much for sharing this wild story with us here, giving us so many different ideas of what we can do. How do we get in touch with you?
You can check me out on my website, thebizdoula.com. I like to hang out primarily on Instagram, so also the Biz Doula there. Or if you're on Clubhouse, you can come listen to me chat and talk about more crazy marketing ideas. Also, the Biz Doula. So anywhere you just type in the Biz Doula, you will find me.
The Biz Doula. That's the BIZ Doula, DOULA. This is Sherese Holmes, the brilliant mind and individual behind the revolutionary virtual food festival. Again, Sherese, thanks so much for being here on the Crazy Good Marketing Podcast.
Thank
We'll catch
you.
you guys all next time for another crazy story.